Well, here's a neat little trick. I got these premium high illumination DRL lights. They're like the 3357 or 3157 taillight bulbs you'll commonly find in the cars that are not LED lights. They're not the 1157, which is like a round plug. I don't know if it matters which way you put them in, because with LEDs, usually you have, I might have guessed, it's 50% chance you put them in the right way. If it doesn't work, try flipping them around. Now, I tried several things trying to put bright LED lights on this Sebring Convertible, and they did not work. So, these worked. These worked. Now, just want to warn you that there is actually a, let me turn on the lights on this thing. Oh, got the ignition on. Let me turn the ignition off. You'll hear the, oh, I'll just shut the door so you don't hear the chime. So, on these inner lights, the one here and in here, they're all running lights. The brake lights only work on the inner lights. The turn signal lights work on the outer lights. So on the inner lights, you do not need the ones on the inside. You can just use regular LEDs. You're not going to have to worry about the hyper flash. It's with the conjunction with the turn signal. Now, to get at this, you have a rubber plug back here. You pull this off. Then there's two screws, one on each side over there, one way back in there. And you put an 11 millimeter deep socket on it, unscrew them, and this whole housing comes out. You can unplug the lights. The ones you got to worry about for the hyper flash are only the outside ones. And I'm not sure if you can hear. Let's put the turn signal, the four-way flashers on. Okay. Yeah, I guess you could tell on the camera because it looks redder on this side. You know, you can see the flashing go, it's more red. It is brighter to the naked eye. To the naked eye, it almost looks like they're the same, but this one on the right is flashing. I only have it on the right side right now. The only thing is, I don't know if you can hear this. There's like a little fan in this thing with a heat sink that cools this thing down. So I got a feeling they're not going to last forever. That's the problem. One of the reasons I put them in here, not only because they're brighter, but because LEDs will last a really long time. Now, the flasher on this is not in here. That 5-pin relay is for the defroster. The flasher is in this thing. It's on a multifunction switch. There's two screws on the bottom. You know, you're probably supposed to disconnect the battery because of the airbags, but I don't really see, you're not going to really have to take much apart except for take this bottom cover off, and it kind of loops into here. So you have to push the wheel up and get it unhooked. And actually, you don't even need to take the bottom cover off. You just take these two screws off, take the top cover off, bring the wheel, you got adjustment tilt, you bring the wheel down, and you unplug it from the back. I tried two different 5-pin flashers that were electronic to stop the hyper flash. Neither one of them worked. And I actually tried that on my 2003 Chevy Cavalier. Neither one of them worked. Well, it looks like this works. A little more money, but you don't have to buy the flasher, 5-pin flasher. The only thing I think might be a problem with these, possibly, well, let's see how long they last. I'll keep the bulbs in my car just in case, but there are, the outside lights are, I think they're 168. They're like the little plug-in ones. You can get LEDs for that. They don't flash, so you don't have to worry about the hyper flash. The only thing that's doing a turn signal is this bulb right here. All these go on. There's a little one, the 168, and a 3357, 3157, or 3357. I think they're basically the same. It's a 3357, each one of these. The one you have to worry, you don't need this specialty bulb with the heat sink and a fan in it for the inside ones, because they're just the brake lights in the running lights. It's the ones that work with the turn signals. So you only need 2 of them. You don't need 4 of them. So that's cheaper. Because the ones that don't have this heat sink and a little fan in it are less money. Okay? And it's real easy to take off this light and stuff. So I'll do the other side. It makes a little noise though. You'll hear a little hum back here. Not that loud. It's like a little like that. But it works. I'll try them out for a while. I'll probably put them on that Chevy over there. You can see that. That Chevy. So we'll see what happens. You know, because I just want to make sure these these last for excuse me, and last for a couple months or so, at least, before, because there is a fan in this thing. It's like there's something motor. There's a motor going on in this thing. It's not just a heat sink. The other way to do it is actually to put a resistor and a heat sink on it. And I don't like that because you're messing with the wires. But maybe that is a better approach, because I have put these things in other cars and I didn't have any problems using the electronic flasher that's supposed to stop the hyper flash. But with this car, I don't know which one works. There might be some hyper flasher that works. I got one that supposedly works, and I tried another one that supposedly worked, and neither one of them worked. It was like, and I flipped the bulbs around and everything. It just wouldn't work right. Sometimes the lights just wouldn't work. Like in, I forgot what mode they didn't work in. It would work with the flasher, with the lights off. If you put the lights on, and you try to put the turn signal on, it didn't work. Then I tried flipping a bulb around, it didn't work that way. And I tried a couple different bulbs, a couple different electronic flashers. So I finally went with this. If this stays reliable, see, there's a little fan in there, I think. See that? See a little fan. Yeah, there's a fan in there. Freaking ridiculous. Anyway, oh, maybe it'll last. I mean, you got computer fans that are on for years, right? And you don't use this car like constantly, right? You mean your computer CPU fan works for how many umpteen hours on your laptop or your desktop or whatever it is? So maybe this fan will last. It depends on the quality of it, how good it is. We'll see. We'll find out. But this is one thing that makes it a heck of a lot easier, because, and the other thing is, like, again, told you where that 5-pin flasher is, but I tried 2 different ones and it didn't work. It's in a weird spot. It's not that hard to get at, really. The one in that Chevy is hard to get at, but you got to know where it is. But this might be a lot simpler solution.